This next piece that we're learning from the Nesivei Shalom is very, very important for all levels of chinuch, and he starts off with a fundamental principle. Yesh chinuch ragil. There is regular chinuch, standard chinuch. V'yesh chinuch ba'yasi. And then there's a chinuch for problems, for kids who are struggling. V'loi harezeh k'harezeh. The rules are not the same. Yeled shezakuk l'chinuch ba'yasi miyuchad, a child that requires a specialized, customized chinuch program geared to his needs, b'noisen lo chinuch shigarti, and you give him a regular standard chinuch, amachanchim choitim b'yeled. The parents, the teachers, the educators, whoever is dealing with this kid, is sinning, is doing a terrible avla. And this really puts a straight line down the middle. And a lot of people there's so much confusion. The first thing anybody needs to know when dealing with a child of any age is this chinuch ragil? Is this a happy, healthy, normal, stable child? And then you have 1,000 chinuch books? Or is this a child that has problems and issues, struggles, in which case all of the chinuch books do not apply? You need a different 1,000 chinuch books for kids who are struggling. And we have to think about this very, very seriously and very deeply. Imagine if you have two kinds of people that help people at the gym. You have a personal trainer and you have a physical therapist. A personal trainer takes healthy people and pushes them and pushes them and pushes them to the max. He's not worried that the person is sick. He doesn't have to worry about anything. Pushes and pushes and pushes. However, a physical therapist is taking somebody who's sick. And of course, in the sickness, in that right level, they have to push. But not more. For them, they're pushing to get 4 steps, but not 5 steps, because they can re-break and re-traumatize the whole leg. So going to a regular personal trainer who's pushing 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, they're not worried about the healing of the body and how much do I need to push. It's to the max. And that's wonderful for healthy people. If you want to lose weight, you want to go to the gym, you get a tough guy and he's going to push you to the max. Unless you have a heart problem, you have nothing to worry about. You will build up muscle and it's great. Chinuch ragil, normal chinuch, normal education. However, someone is having a problem, a struggle, a challenge, and you keep on doing chinuch ragil, you break them. Because their problem is being misdiagnosed, and the solution, therefore, is misdiagnosed. Because you're treating him like a normal kid who's a little lazy, a little not in the mood, or whatever it is, and you're using great regular techniques, but that's not my problem. My problem is I didn't sleep last night because the parents are fighting, or because they can't understand things, whatever it is. So then when you keep on pushing in the regular chinuch, you end up causing tremendous, tremendous damage. Amachanchim choitim bayeled. Mekar hakshayim shel yeled bayasi. What is the source and root of the problems of a problematic child? Hu taspich v'tiskul. It's being trapped by emotional issues and frustration. Umechanchav kol zman sheli matzu es mekar hataspich lo yifteru es habaya. And for the educators who are educating that child, until you fix the problem, you're not going to fix the problem. The problem is not that he can't get up in the morning and I'm going to pull him out of bed. The question is, why can't he get up in the morning? And until you fix that problem, right, you could have a kid who has a reason why he's not sleeping well. Until you fix the problem, you don't know how to deal with a solution to actually fix the problem. And you can go ahead and force kids who have emotional issues to comply, but only for so long. So here's what happens. Kids who have emotional problems or something else, whatever it is, and we keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, you can push them a little bit more. You can pull, you can push, you can force, but then they break. They have a major breakdown. Why? Because when we looked at the child, we misdiagnosed what was bothering them. The source and root of the problematic child, the child who's struggling, is emotional problems. And if you are not focused on figuring out the baya, the emotional problem that he has, and how to fix it and take it away from him, then you're never going to get anywhere. I'll tell you a personal story. I just thought of it right now. One of my children started not getting, he must have been 8 years old. He started not getting up in the morning. He started not wanting to do homework. And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to okay, we got to push him, and you got to... Same kid as a few months ago, and all of a sudden he's just not behaving well. And then all of a sudden, after about 3 weeks of this, we noticed in the basement some mold on the wall. What happened was there was mold growing from the other side that we didn't see, from some kind of a leak from the dryer or the air conditioning vent or whatever it was, we didn't see. This kid is highly allergic to mold. So here, he didn't have the option of behaving any better. If we would have dealt with it like a behavioral problem, because it's the wrong medication. The kid's thinking all of a sudden, you think I don't know how to behave? You think I don't want to get up in the morning? You think the whole thing is a misdiagnosis. And Baruch Hashem, it took only 3 weeks. If it would have been 3 months, we would have thought, who knows what? We would have taken him to a psychiatrist, a therapist. Who knows what would have happened? Everybody would be frustrated with him. How come you're not alert? Why aren't you? And the Rebbe would blame the parents would blame the whole life can fall apart. So you see over here how important it is that if there's a problem, if a kid has headaches, you have to give them Tylenol. Otherwise, you'll have 30 different behavioral issues. You're not solving the problem. It's very pashut once you hear it, but so many times we make, as parents and educators, we make that mistake. Yesh shehabaya hu b'sur meira. There are some times that the problem is coming from negative influences. He's dealing with bad averis and he feels trapped by illicit desires. Me'achar she'istabich b'tayvus rois. Oyim chaverim roim. He could have bad friends, bad influences. Ve'enim moitzi es haderech li'chalitz mimatzavai she'mesubach bai. And he's unable to free himself from the situation that he's trapped in. Sometimes kids are liars by nature. Or he's an unbelievably out of the norm. He's naturally rebellious. And he just cannot accept any authority and to accept personal responsibility. At an older age, sometimes they have problems with emunah. And he takes all of these different things that could happen to somebody, and he's saying, yeah, those are problems that are normal for kids to get into. And it's up to us to go ahead and fix the problem. So many times we hear, well, your kid is this, he's not that, and he's this, he has bad friends. Yeah, kids get into sibuchim. They get into being trapped with all kinds of things, plus. The Rebbe wrote this 30 years ago. What would he say today? The stuff that our kids get stuck in, and we get angry at them. Getting angry at somebody who's stuck doesn't help them. All these things that we spoke about, and similar, it takes great intelligence. It takes great chachma to find ways to extricate the child from his emotional difficulties and to set him on the right path. All of these souls need to have a special fitting treatment. Otherwise, if we don't do the proper treatment for each individual child's individual struggle, we can lose kids. Tasbichim harbe yosim mikol inyani hatayvis. Wow, what a chiddush! A kid gets involved with tayvis, not the end of the world. Much worse if he has emotional things going on in his life, in his world. Much worse. So we push him weiter as if he's normal and if he's regular, and you push him, and chas v'shalom, we can be la'abedus hanefesh. How many times have we seen that? Because we take a kid that the emergency brake was on, and we don't know why it's not going, so more gas. No, there's something holding the car back. Fix the problem, and until you fix the problem, you can break the yeled, which is very dangerous. Harbe pa'amim royim, many times we see, ki dafka me'elu hayeladim habayosim, tzamchu gedolei Yisrael. Many times from kids who were not regular, had problems, problematic. They had difficulties. They ended up being Gedolei Yisrael. Ki lemaisa habayosiyas shalahem. Lemaisa, their troubles, navu, came from bigla gadlusam shahayu yiladim bilti regilim. They were not regular kids. They had godless in them, and that caused them to have a lot of problems. If you're very, very smart, maybe they're spacing out and they're not paying attention because we're not challenging their brain enough, or all kinds of stuff, that they're different from regular kids. They're made differently from regular kids, and they need a different type of chinuch. And many times the source of the problems comes from greatness. And if it's not dealt with properly, you end up with a kid at risk 5 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later, because, and then we say, oh, he went off the derech. No, he had a problem because of his gadlus that caused him to be different, and it wasn't dealt with properly, it wasn't diagnosed properly, and then you have a broken kid. A broken genius and a broken tzaddik is very dangerous. As we see, about 50% of the parents who come to me say that their kids who are now off the derech and atheists and all kinds of problems were the top kids. They had something inside of them that was hurting them. It was either not picked up on or misdiagnosed, and then the breakdown happens, and those same geniuses, great kids, sensitive, sweet, pure, delicious souls, end up being very, very far away because we broke them by not understanding them.